Hi everyone, Kimberly Denise here.
What's up everybody? Shawal, Banyamayan.
And we're coming to you live. Sorry we're a little bit late, kids, technical difficulties. I was trying to record this thing sideways and I didn't know you can't do that on Facebook Live, so we're coming to you with the correct frame now. But thank you for being patient. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for hopping on. If you're hopping on with us live or if you're watching the recording, please let us know where you're tuning in from and also let us know what it is that you're doing. Are you in a business? Are you building a business? Are you selling a product? Let us know what you're doing and what you're focused on for this month of September. I'm going to do a quick intro for the both of us, and then we're going to hop right in. Today we are reading from 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class from Steve Siebold. It's an amazing book that made a huge impact on our lives and our businesses years ago. We actually had the pleasure of meeting Steve at an event several years ago. You forgot about that, huh? Yeah. Super cool guy, but he works with top high-performing athletes and achievers, and just getting around people who think at that caliber, it's crazy what it can do to your mind. So we hope that with sharing this information with you today and throughout the week, and hopefully throughout the whole book, you guys will join us and we'll be able to go through this and really dig out some gold that you can apply to your life and whatever projects you have going for your business, or maybe you're going to think of something new. So we got started in entrepreneurship, online entrepreneurship, kind of at the same time in 2012, though we didn't know each other.
Hold on, before we continue, and as people continue watching this video to the end, I do want to set a purpose of this video. Really, my purpose, at least for me and my audience, and hopefully your audience gets the same feedback.
Yeah, we're live on his phone and my phone too, by the way. So if you see me looking over here, I'm looking on his.
My goal is to create a culture of mindfulness and awareness 24/7, 365. And of course, that sounds like an incredible task, very daunting to even think about with the mundane and the distractions of your life and everything that you do wants to take you away from who you really are, which is a powerful force. You are an infinite, loving nature in a body, and everything in life is designed to take you away from that truth and keep you aligned in a cycle that doesn't necessarily benefit your life, your community's life, or humanity's life. So that's the intention, is to be able to help people create an awareness continuously over every situation so they can respond in ways that pushes their spiritual progress forward. So
yeah, so like we're excited to start a journey with those of you who are committed. Maybe you're committed to your personal growth, your spiritual growth, your new business. What is that? Oh, we can wave to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, you're good. Boom.
Okay, cool. Hey, Alana. How do you say it?
Grand Rising, Alana.
So, where was I? Okay, so 2012, we were both kind of starting our internet marketing careers separately. We didn't know each other yet. We met each other in summer of 2013. But, we got started with the same intention. We wanted a better life for our family. We wanted to help others. And we both saw the huge opportunity that existed in the realm of internet and affiliate marketing. And we went on. I know Shawal was working full-time in a cell phone kiosk. Mm-hmm. He's actually worked everywhere. It's funny because we'll go places and he's like, I've worked here, I've worked there.
Not everywhere.
You've had a lot of crazy
jobs. Some people will take that to the next level. Where else did you work?
You've had a lot of jobs though, right?
Yeah.
I was a banker. I was working at a bank full-time. And my story is I was working full-time, 40 plus hours a week. I was only seeing my kids a couple of hours a day. And I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work from home. I wanted to build the life that I saw so many leaders living, right? Mm-hmm. A life of being your own boss, managing your own time, telling yourself when you're going to wake up, when you're going to go to sleep, when you're going to clock in, when you're going to clock out, when you're going to use the restroom, when you're going to eat. Governing yourself, right? Not having someone else lording and governing over me.
Being able to just leave state or city whenever you want without
traveling,
needing approval.
Just having the freedom and not having money be the reason why you don't do something, because that's when something is controlling you, whether it's time, a person, money, anything, you are enslaved by that thing.
That's
and
right.
I didn't want to be in slavery anymore to my job or to what it was that I was doing. So I saw this huge opportunity in internet marketing. Luckily, a year passed, for me personally, I was able to replace my full-time income, and the rest is history. We've both been full-time entrepreneurs for the past 8, I think we're like on the 9th year, right? I don't know if we're on year 8 or year 9.
Yeah, it took a couple of years off, but
we've
consistently been free from a job since 2012, and that's
so we've done it all. We've been in affiliate, we've been in network marketing, we've done our own businesses, we've tried doing brick and mortar stuff offline. We've pretty much done it all.
JV, affiliate, like everything, yeah.
Yeah. So if you name the business type, we've probably done it, and we have a lot of things going on for us now. But what we want to do most importantly, is we want to just create a culture where we're giving back and we're sharing what we've learned and we're sharing the things that have made the biggest difference. And what made a huge difference for me and really played a crucial role in me being able to quit my job was a call just like this.
Right.
And it was a call that I tuned into every single day, 6 a.m. They did theirs a little bit earlier because they had a huge group of people, and I think most people had a job at that time, but they were trying to go offline. But anyways, I remember tuning into that call every single day. And I remember getting ready for work and doing my makeup and my hair and just listening to these people speak, and they would read through books too. And I remember just gaining the hope and gaining a vision. It helped me to paint a vision within myself of what was possible, and it helped me to just expand my mind and think differently. Because if you think about it, or if you start out on this journey of discovery of yourself and thinking differently and achieving new things, it's really about just changing your thought processes. And so back to this book, if you want to achieve greater...
Changing your thought process and applying the law of mentalism and holding that thought process clear enough and long enough until the manifestation of what you want comes into the physical reality.
Absolutely. But what I realized, I had a moment, right? So I heard some people speaking on this call, and I heard one of the guys say that your current circumstances are the result of your current level of thinking. And I thought, I made a decision in that moment, and I said, I can't trust myself anymore. I took my hands off the wheel. At that time, I probably said, like, Jesus, take the wheel or something like that. And I said, I cannot trust myself to make decisions from this level of thinking that I have anymore. Because right now, what it got me is into this job that I'm working full time. I can barely pay my bills. I'm in debt. I'm not seeing my kids, and I'm just living a miserable life. So I decided I'm gonna take on new thoughts. I'm gonna take on new ideas. I'm gonna learn from people who have the life that I want to live. I'm gonna take advice. I'm gonna take ideas from people who are living and building the business in a way that I resonated with, and that's exactly what I did. And so that's kind of what we want to do with this book is help you tap into that higher level of thinking, so you can use these economic times to your advantage and not have to think that, like, hey, the world sucks right now, the economy sucks right now, there's no opportunities. There's more opportunity right now today in this economy, than there really has ever been in the past decade.
So pay attention.
For real, okay?
For real, this is opportunity of a lifetime right now.
So anything you want to say about your specific story or anything
I
stuck out to you?
I don't want to go too long, but I know that the biggest battle that from my life experience and meeting thousands of people and coaching hundreds of people online in the past is the battle within themselves, their self-worth, their self-esteem, who they are in the world, what their mission is, why they were created in the first place. And what we want to do is bring a 360-degree holistic viewpoint or awareness, or a 30,000-foot view rather of your life, so you can change your life by first changing your mind. Change your mind, and then you change your life. And then having some mentors along the way is going to be critical, but not just any mentor, right? Because there's a lot of other online entrepreneurs, gurus, magis, people who might lead you down a spiritual path that may not necessarily be the right path for you. So how do we differentiate and make the distinctions of who you should follow and who you should not? Well, it's the level of transparency. Before we begin, I'll just tell my quick story. My story began, I was raised in Guatemala City, Guatemala, a third world country. I saw poverty all around me. I don't really necessarily remember all of my childhood experiences, but growing up and moving to the United States, specifically Florida, when I was 7 years old, I started tapping into, the typical things that kids tap into, just play fighting, playing outside, playing football, soccer, wrestling, the whole 9 yards. I did a lot of skateboarding, and then I found MMA, had a pro MMA career. I still train mixed martial arts for self-defense to this day, although I don't continue to pursue that MMA career. I also discovered entrepreneurship once again in 2012 when I met my wife Kimberly at a networking event where we were learning about how to actually grow and scale internet businesses, and then we partnered up. I believe it was August of 2012, and then we've been just full-time online ever since, and we've had a lot of successes, a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and we learned a lot. And mostly, it was the mentality and the responsibility that was required for you to take on a daily basis over your thoughts, minds, and actions. And that is not an easy thing to do. And our hope by the end of this live is for you to be equipped, at least today, with one of the best mental toughness strategy secrets from one of the world's best when it comes to internet marketing And in whatever it is that you're doing, network marketing, affiliate marketing, coaching, maybe you're brand new, you've never launched a business, maybe you're a pastor or minister, you're looking to launch your message, whatever it is that you're looking to do, you're looking to launch your message to the world. Maybe you don't have a message. We're going to help you get clear on that. But first we have to start in the spirit, and we have to start with this book.
Yes, and we're going to be doing these calls probably like 6 days a week, aside from the Shabbat or the Sabbath day. I know that's different for each person. We go off of, what is it called, like the lunar...
We
go off the lunar calendar. But so 6 days a week, you can expect to see us coming on live every sunrise and reading from this book, or maybe we'll pop some other books in there as well as we get inspired. Okay, cool. So we're on chapter 1. It's called "The World Class Operates from Objective Reality," and it's got a quote from the author. It says, "Amateur performers operate from delusion. Pros operate from objective reality. The great ones' habits, actions, and behaviors are totally congruent with the size and scope of their ultimate vision. That's why we call them champions." It starts off with, "In 20 years of competing, coaching, and working with performers from various fields, I've discovered most amateurs suffer from mild to severe delusion in relation to their efforts and competencies. In other words, most people delude themselves into thinking they are working harder than they are, and that they are more competent than they actually are. Of the 5 major levels of conscious awareness, there's poverty, working, middle, upper, and world. My experience has been that performers at the middle class levels of consciousness suffer the grandest delusions. The poverty level is barely surviving and living in a very harsh set of circumstances. The working class is punching a mental time clock and counting the days until retirement. They're usually not expecting much, and no one around them expects much either. They are typically not concerned about climbing any higher. It's the middle class that is most incongruent with reality. They are operating at a high enough level to understand that higher levels exist. Although they don't expect to get there, the thought crosses their minds from time to time. Because of their low expectations, their actions are incongruent with their desires. In other words, they want to live the life of the world class, but they are unwilling to pay the price. Since this reality is too harsh to bear, they delude themselves into thinking they are doing everything in their power to get ahead. Of course, they're not. They'll tell you that they're putting in far more time than they are. They'll swear that they're thinking about their vision all the time, but they're not. The world class is brutally honest with themselves, and they tend to look reality in the face. They err on the side of over-practicing and over-preparing. Champions know that to ascend to the top, you must first be operating from a mindset of objective reality. Self-deception and delusion have no place in the professional performer's consciousness.
So that right there is living in the end.
And then
operating from the objective attained from the beginning in order to attain the objective. Yeah, it's like time travel.
And what stuck, because I read this book first back in probably like 2013, and what stuck out to me was I realized I was a part of the poverty, stepping into the mid mindset, but really wanted to be a part of the world class. Like I was in between all of them, right? Like I knew I wanted to be at the world class level and have those results financially and through the way that I grew up and through the way I was living at the time. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by some roosters out there. We've got a lot of chickens outside running around. So financially and economically, I was like in the poverty class, not even in middle class. I didn't grow up in middle class, but in middle class, maybe I was surrounded and had a job throughout that middle class. But what stuck out to me was I realized that I was in that group where I thought I was doing everything to build my business. I thought I was doing those necessary things. I thought that I was just doing the right things. And I was going in a circle. And sometimes you could feel crazy when you feel like I'm doing all the stuff that these people are telling me to do. Or you might be, if you're in direct sales or whatever, you're doing what your upline has told you to do, or you're doing whatever mentor has told you what to do. You're doing the things. But if the results are not showing up, there's some kind of a disconnect, either in what you're doing, or if you really are doing the things, then that turns to where it's mental, and it goes into your mentality, your mindset, who you're being. And every single person, you can go look up any success story on YouTube or wherever you want to look it up, but they will tell you that they had to become the person that they saw in their mind. They had to just become that person internally before your actions will follow who you feel that you are.
They had to basically have a grand delusion, which a psychiatrist will throw you in a mental hospital and tell you that you're being delusional about your goals and dreams. And how do I know? It's happened to me.
It's like either way you're delusional, because he mentioned they live in a delusion, right? But you got to choose the delusion that you're going to live in.
That's
right?
Benefit
choose your delusion.
Yeah.
Choose your illusion.
Yeah.
Right? You're either living an illusion where you believe what the teachers said and what your parents said and what the bullies said growing up about yourself, and you're going to believe all the lies that have been told to you.
Or you're going to know the truth that you are an infinite being living in a body who are simply a manifestation of that infinite power as your energy and soul is in your body. You can believe that today because that is the truth. That all religion, all corrupt systems are trying to take away from you. If you are alive and breathing, you are a creature of the Almighty. And I'm not just talking about, the cultish gods of the world. I'm talking about the true God, right? The one and true living God that exists within all. And like the sun permeating all of creation, just like that sun giving you an endless amount of light each and every day without expecting anything in return. And that source, which is infinite love, that is where all the great prophets and all the greatest mystics have always spoken of. They have spoken of this true light. But the misunderstanding in the relationship that we have towards this light and ourselves and each other, right? If we continue to look at each other as separate, and if we define ourselves through genealogy, race, creed, religion, status, and if we continue to create a void, a dark separation between who we are and the objective world around us, what we're doing is we're actually creating an ego where we edge God out, we edge out the potential of love, light, prosperity, abundance, and heuristical thinking and progress. We refuse to take responsibility, and then we end up just blaming other people for the lack of results thereof, right? What was that quote saying? When you have the finger pointing at somebody, you got three fingers pointing right back at you. That victim mentality is what's being propagated by most organizations, your schools, to keep you in that slave bubble that my wife was talking about, to keep you in the middle class, because the elite, right, the higher up, the people who are running the show, they don't want you to ascend beyond them, and they certainly don't want you to create the kingdom of the Most High God here on the earth. For those that believe in the Most High God, you can call him love, or you can say universal law, right? Because at the end of the day, we're speaking about principles that cannot be corrupted by men. These are objective, natural laws that exist, and they're biblical, they're spiritual, and they can be proven by science. So at this point, we have to really be careful with the things that we think, feel, and say, because there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And so if you want a better result, right, you got to, first of all, admit that you have a problem. First admit first ask yourself, what is a problem? Where does the problem exist? Why does the problem exist? What can you do to fix the problem? And then from those answers to those questions, from there, the practicality and the pragmatics and the real world solutions come. But we have to address the internal man and woman, the inner man.
Yeah, you get what you're focused on and what you're looking for. So if you are, that's all that it really takes to change your life and to get a new result. Even if it's not in business, if it's in your relationship, if it's in your fitness, your health status, knowing that you want more is not enough. Everybody wants more, right? Decisions happen inside of you. You make the decision, and from there, all the resources become available to you from the Most High. The mentors, the leaders, the actual physical material resources that you need, the money that you need, like anything that you need is going to be made available to you, just like it's made available to any creature in nature. Abundance is the natural state of everything, except for human beings. Why? Because we mess it up for ourselves.
That's right.
And others have messed it up for us. But it's your job to find out. It's like your mission to discover how have you been led astray? How have you been duped and lied to into thinking something false that's got you living a life that you're not happy with, and doesn't align with.
And then when you're dependent on your government or your locals to provide food, water, shelter for you, and you don't become independent and get in alignment with the abundance of what the earth is producing for you, then that's another setback. You can only make so much money in the world, but if you're constantly giving it away to all these entities that are sucking you dry and you're mismanaging your resources, then you're going to reap the rewards of that mismanagement.
That's a great point. All right, so to end it off here, then we can share some last thoughts. they've got a comparison. There's like 25 ways that the world class thinks differently, and then after that they've got
one at a time too.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, we'll take turns. All right. I feel like I'm going back to high school reading. The middle class competes, and the world class creates.
The middle class avoids risk. The world class manages risk.
The middle class lives in delusion. The world class lives in objective reality.
The middle class loves to be comfortable. The world class is comfortable in the uncomfortable.
The middle class has a lottery mentality, thinking things are just going to happen to you randomly someday, right?
A Lamborghini's going to drop on your
The world class has an abundance mentality.
Right. The middle class hungers for security. The world class doesn't believe that security exists.
The middle class sacrifices growth for safety. The world class sacrifices safety for growth.
The middle class operates out of fear and scarcity. The world class operates from love and abundance.
The middle class focuses on having. The world class focuses on being.
The middle class sees themselves as victims. The world class see themselves as responsible.
The middle class slows down. The world class calms down.
I'm constantly saying that to my kids. Calm down. Right. The middle class is frustrated. The world class is grateful.
The middle class has pipe dreams.
The world class has vision. Right. So without vision, the people perish.
The middle class is ego-driven, and the world class is spirit-driven.
I didn't take it. You gave it to me.
Whatever.
The middle class is problem-oriented. The world class is solution-oriented.
The middle class thinks they know enough. The world class is eager to learn.
Nothing worse than a learned man or woman, because then you're just stuck, and you propagate that stuckness.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. There's grace there. The middle class chooses fear. The world class chooses growth.
The middle class is boastful, and the world class is humble.
Yep. We'll get back to humility here. The middle class trades time for money. The world class trades ideas for money.
I love that one. The middle class denies their intuition, and the world class embraces their intuition.
The middle class seeks riches. The world class seeks wealth.
The middle class believes their vision only when they see it.
The world class,
they need to see it to believe it, right?
The world class reversed that formula. And they know that they will see their vision when they believe it. So they believe it first before it comes. That's the proper way.
The middle class coaches through logic.
The world class coaches through emotion.
Okay. The middle class speaks the language of fear.
The world class speaks the language of love.
The middle class believes problem solving stems from knowledge.
The world class believes problem solving stems from will. Boom.
All right, you wanted to point something out, but
on humility. So, like the bamboo takes 5 years to grow, the Chinese bamboo, and it's piercing through the ground, and it has the most elevated growth in that 5th year, and it just skyrockets, right? And that's because of the presuppositional state that the so-called bamboo was in, and it was in a place where it didn't know when it was going to grow, but it had the faith and the trust of the internal program of its own design in the genetics of the plant, of the tree rather, right? And what did it do? It manifested for 4 years, as a small bamboo tree, right? Sucking in all the sun, all the particles, all the water out of the ether, and growing its spiritual attributes. And then in that 5th year, boom, it grew. The same way that as a bamboo grows higher and it bows because of the height, that's exactly how we should be. As we grow, we should bow in humility and knowledge. Because just like the light, you're watching this video right now, this is a broadcast transmission. It's a light vibration. It's a frequency. It's a code, and it's being decoded into pixels, and then you're able to see, basically, you're able to somewhat have a portal experience from wherever you are right now in the world watching this video. You're watching us here from Nashville, Tennessee. And with that light, just like a lotus flower, imagine you have multiple lotus flowers in the water, right? Some lotus flowers, just due to the sun's rays, it just jumps straight up into the sky, and because of the light codes within the lotus flower and the light hitting it, the lotus then blossoms because of the pre-programming, right? However, then you have some lotus flowers that take a little bit longer. They're a little bit more stubborn, right? Kind of like people. But eventually the light of truth makes that lotus flower open up too. But then you have a murkier lotus flower where it's got a rock on it, right? Where no matter what it does, and no matter how much light you shine on it, it is going to stay stuck because of the rock that is impeding its growth, right? How's that relevant to you? Well, maybe you know somebody, or maybe you felt like this in the past where you've just like carried all this emotional weight, carried the failures of the past, or carried this burden. That's the metaphoric representation. That's the simile there of the rock on the lotus flower. So no matter what happens, that flower is going to die in the mud. It's kind of like how you came into this world, right? You were once a semen and you wiggled your way out of your father's gonads or whatever. I don't even know how. I'm not trying to be politically correct here. You came out of your father and you were one of the very few trillions of sperms that made it. And it's the same thing once you're here. Okay, now you're here, now it's another race. It's another race to return back to the eternal Father, who is the love and the eternal light and source of all things. So our goal as entrepreneurs, and in this video, is to remind you that you are not just a human, you are not just a physical body, you are not your name, you are not your identity, you are not what you do. You are literally your soul and your infinite nature. You are a son and daughter of the living God in all creation. That is the truth. Regardless of what dogma has taught you in the past, regardless of what cults may have manipulated you in the past about thinking about who you truly are. Because every single creature on the planet is subject to the Most High's laws. And you can say the Most High, you can say the universal laws, right? You got the law of mentalism, you have the law of cause and effect, the law of sowing and reaping, right? You have the law of gender, you have the law of, what are the laws? Polarity, yeah. The law of what? Yeah, the law of compensation. These are all laws that are not just biblical, but they're also universal, and you can apply them to your life. And that's what we're looking to get you at, because it's like, if we're not following the natural, universal, and moral laws of the creation, and we don't get into that flow, then that creates a lot of backdrop of non-results.
Yeah, all suffering and not achieving the results that you want to achieve in any area, right? In your health, not being in the shape that you want to be in, not having the relationship with your husband or your wife that you want to have, not having the business that you want, or being at the level in your career, professionally, whatever it is. Not achieving those results is a form of suffering, right? Especially if you can't figure it out and figure out how to get out of that situation. All suffering is caused by breaking one or multiple laws, whether it's a moral law, whether it's a universal law, whatever you want to call it, but it's usually some law or more multiple laws are being broken. So we're really passionate about helping people to realize, which laws those are and bring them back to the reality and the truth, right? So I wanted to ask you specifically, because he won't sit here and tell you this himself, but I'll brag on him a little bit, because he has achieved so much over the past several years. We were on a long journey of maybe you've been following us since we were going down the route of doing MMA and going down the road of entering into the UFC.
Maybe you've been following us since 2012.
Yeah.
But
we were on that road, right? And he's accomplished so much in his personal, his fitness and his athleticism that's super inspiring to me. And I feel like he's taken a lot. I just know that you're a completely different person, right? Who's sitting right here is different, even from the person that you were last year, but most definitely from the person that you were in 2012, 2013. What can you share? What's like one thing that you could share with people in regards to the way that you thought and operated and just governed yourself? That person who was working in the cell phone kiosk versus the person who's now, you're a full-time entrepreneur, father, you do your athletics full-time.
Fluid structure, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Fluid structure. Because, she mentioned that I do MMA. Specifically self-defense now. I don't do MMA for competition anymore, but the fluid structure of being able to have a schedule, being able to stick to that schedule, and as things get in the way or might get in the way of that, or if I have to basically avoid the pain that comes with adjustment. Instead of just like avoiding it altogether, I flow with it. It's like a fluid structure. Because we have kids, right? You might be watching this video, you have kids. They may be distracting to you. They may stop you, or so quote unquote stop you from doing the things that you need to do. But when you have that fluid structure, kind of like Aikido, kind of like Judo, kind of like Jiu-Jitsu, you don't fight the force that's coming at you. You just simply move out of the way, or just redirect the energy into its proper flow. And that same thing, whether it's your problems or your personal issues with your family, because the biggest enemies that you're going to have in your own household are your family and your tribe members. Understand that. The biggest demons that are going to manifest in your reality, right? If not some demons out in Sheol or hell that are going to rise up, maybe that one day that'll happen, but the first demons that you're going to be dealing with is those of your own mind and those of your own household. So we have to have that fluidity, that Aikido, to where when the problems come or whenever the distractions arise, we have contingency models of, essentially, that's what would be creating a fluid structure, not being attached to the outcome, performing with the expectancy of the outcome, but if things come up, you just simply adjust and adapt and flow. It's flowing with the going with the flow. It's the best way I can put it.
That's cool. So like when you didn't have that mentality.
Yeah. The excuse-itis
that's what
was
kept
rampant.
you just in going from job to job, not really having a purpose. Just
Correct.
kind of being
Lack of
controlled
awareness
by
too.
your circumstances.
Lack of awareness. I was not disciplined at all. Yeah, even in the midst of my MMA career, I was training hard, but not training hard like a gold medalist, like somebody who's winning the world championships. I was just kind of training just to be the best guy in that room. I wasn't training to be the best of myself, because even if you seek out to be the best in your field, there's always going to be one person that's working just as hard, if not harder than you. So instead of trying to compete with the world, you compete with yourself every day. You improve yourself every day. You document your results every day of that improvement, and then you're going to build that confidence. And then when shit happens, right? Then what do? You just simply you slip right out of that, or you just flow right out of that, right? You don't run. You just go with the flow. And so it's all about values. It's all about what is it deeply in your heart that you're looking to do. And I believe that the purpose of you watching this video, the purpose of all humanity and creation, is to really experience the love of the Father, who is love, who is kindness, who is patience, who is humility, to express the character of the eternal Father in our work and in what we do, and to experience the blessings that character and that life will provide for us, is what I believe that every human being on the planet is looking for. They're just looking for it in structures that are not presenting that to them. They're looking for it in all the wrong areas. They don't recognize that it's within them.
Right.
So we need accountability systems. We need accountability partners. We need people that have the same mission, who want to empower other people to recognize their true self in this creation space that we all got thrusted into. I'm pretty sure, unless you're like a serious biblical theologian, you can't tell me how you came into this existence or the forestory of that knowledge, right? Maybe you can give me some ideas of some translations of what other people have said, but the fact that we're even here watching this video right now, presenting to you, the fact that you're even alive, that in itself should blow your mind every day. At least it does for me. And I'm looking to figure out, how can I contribute the ever-expanding knowledge to other people for the purpose of their happiness, for the purpose of their prosperity, for the purpose of their abundance. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before
we'll wrap it together? So they've got that was really good. But the action step, there's an action step, so something you can take away and apply, right? Because that's super important. You don't want to be stuck. One of my biggest mistakes that I made early on was I was just learning, getting books and reading and going to events. And I actually attended events pretty consistently for like 7 years. And when I say events, I mean like, the weekly seminar, hopping on all the conference calls, going to all the places. And then that's actually, the in-person events really started to change and get me more into the action. But prior to that, like from when I was like 18 to 25, because I discovered entrepreneurship when I was 18, but I was like a shy little girl, didn't know how to talk to anybody, was super scared to talk to anyone, did not know how to sell or anything. So, you know, I struggled for quite a while in trying to create a business. Plus, excuse me, everything was offline. We didn't have social media, so I struggled for a while in that. But one of the biggest mistakes that I made was just getting in that cycle of just always learning, always studying, but never really being able to take what I was learning and put it into practical action. So it's super important. You know, as you tune into these calls with us, have your pen, have your notebook, write down some things that we're speaking about, write down some of these action steps, and then as you're going about your day, in whatever it is area of your life that you want to change, keep this at the forefront of your mind, and what you focus on is what's going to expand. And I promise you that you make the commitment to yourself and to your family and to your business that you're going to see growth. So the action step for today means, or it says, make a commitment to check delusion at the door. Be honest and ask this critical thinking question. Are my habits, my actions, and my behaviors congruent with the vision that I have for my life? So, I want to bring something up because I know a lot of people are going to be struggling with this. We're about to head into, you know, some people call it holiday season or whatever you want to call it. This is the time of year where people eat a lot of food and people get into unhealthy, indulgent behaviors. And you have a decision to make, right? If your health is your number one goal right now and you're trying to get in shape, you're trying to be somebody who has a healthy body, maybe you have conditions that you're trying to really just get under control and eradicate from your body and from your life, then you have some decisions to make, whether you're going to put your health at the top priority of your values or you're going to put that favorite thing that you like to eat at the top priority of your values. You're going to put movement and exercise, and you're not going to wait for the first of the year. You're just going to hammer through this season and say, you know what, I'm not going to let my flesh weigh me down. I'm not going to let my flesh drive this vehicle anymore. I'm going to let my mind and my spirit drive this vehicle, and I'm going to take actions accordingly, right? Because there's people that put on a good 10, 20 pounds over the next several months, you know, and then you make a New Year's resolution that you never stick to, and it's just, that's the cycle that everybody does, right? But if you're trying to be at this world-class level of thinking, and business can be the same, you know, you can make the next couple of months the most profitable, or you can just kind of coast through and kind of wait for the beginning of the year, because you're going to have that feeling of the illusion of time where you're just going to start a new year and everything is like, no, just
and again,
start now.
To bridge the spirit with the action, you know, my wife is very big in the spirit, and especially recently, you know, we've always taken massive amounts of action, and the speed of implementation is everything. Like, if you have an idea and it's good and it's proven, then it's time that you and your team, maybe you already have a team, maybe you're an agency, maybe you're looking to hire an agency in the future, you definitely want to be in a place where you have goals, dates, right? Dates to accomplish those goals, and you have practical systems and teams that can help you accomplish those goals. And that's very hard to find, isn't it? And sometimes you may have to pay $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 to get that world-class agency result. But maybe you don't have that, and all you have is you yourself, maybe you're a few partners or a few team members. Maybe you don't have thousands of people that you can rely on, or a big database or a big list, but it starts with you and your decision and your commitment to hitting your goals no matter what. And then once you figure out the practicality on how to hit those goals, then you simply find the best people in your industry to help complete the necessary steps for you to hit that goal. Because then it's like, if you're just throwing mud against the wall hoping it sticks, and you live in that hope paradigm of, oh, I hope I get business, or I hope I get results, or I hope my health improves, but you're not doing the necessary things to get those profitable moments in your life, then there's a contradiction there. So we have to be honest, and the hardest thing that anyone will ever experience is the honesty within themselves, looking at themselves in the eye and taking ownership for everything in your life. Because isn't it interesting, when there's a problem, you are always there. And so there's never a problem without you there. You're contributing to that problem, no matter how bad the other person may have faulted you. That's a level of responsibility that a lot of people are not willing to do. But I'm hoping by the end of this video series that you take that certain level of ownership in your life and watch your happiness, watch your success, watch your health improve tenfold. That's all I got.
That's so weird that you bring up that point, because yesterday I was in the shower and I was thinking about the live that I was doing last night. Because I had been banned on Facebook and I was released, and so I wanted to do a live and just talk to everyone. And that was a point that I went over in the shower, actually, is that was a big realization in my life, is that You are the common denominator in everything. Every single problem you ever have, every drama that arises, everything, you are always there. So the first step is not to try to control the other person. Like if you want to change your marriage, we're not going to try to control and change our husband, right? We have to change ourselves first. And it sounds weird and it sounds like, well, how is that ever going to change anything? But by you changing yourself, you're going to change everything else around you, right? So yeah, so looking within and focusing on the ways that you can change yourself is super important. Something I wanted to highlight, because it says, are my habits, actions, and behaviors congruent with the vision I have for my life? What is your vision for your life?
That's right. Let us know in the comments what your vision is, what your goals are. Let us know. We'll go into the comment threads and give you some genuine feedback later on today. But participate in this video because it's going to help you get clear. Maybe you haven't written your goals down. It's time to write your goals down.
Maybe you have an idea, and I bring it up because it's like, until I was taught that, hey, you actually need to map out what your vision is, map out what your dream and what your goals are. You just have all these ideas that are, we point up here, right? And I don't even know if it's happening in our brain, but they're happening somewhere that's non-physical and it's just floating around. And
that creative energy is just blasting everywhere with no sense of direction.
You're broadcasting those ideas. So every time you come up with an idea, a goal, something that you want to change, it's just you're broadcasting it out, right? But if you hone in and laser it down,
point that
write
energy,
it down on a paper,
take that sporadic energy that's just going everywhere, and then laser focus that energy into the decision of your goal, then you can summon all the spiritual powers that you need in order to accomplish that goal.
Right. So get clear on what is your vision for, what is it that you want to change, and then what's your vision for that area of your life, or what's the vision for the entire area of your life, and then figure out, okay, now that I have this vision, maybe it's written down, maybe just take a paragraph, take 5 minutes, put on a timer, write out, here's my vision, here's what I want my life, my health, here's what I want to do. Don't wait for New Year's resolution. Don't wait for that. Don't be like everybody else. If you want results that everyone else doesn't have, you have to be that person, a different person. Do things differently. Start your New Year's resolutions right now. Like, cut that off. Cut off the ways of the world, right? Detach from the ways of the world. Let go of that. Die to that. And come alive to the spirit within you that wants to accomplish things and can accomplish things in an instant, right? Through those intentions. So figure out, okay, I've got this vision written down, then ask yourself, what habits, actions, and behaviors do I need to start cultivating within myself to make that a reality? And take that one step at a time and be consistent. Tune into these calls with us. Allow us to be, we'll be your digital accountability partners.
Feel free to inbox us anytime. We get back to every single person that does. I think that's pretty much it. I'll say one last thing.
And there's a resource in that we'll cut it out.
Okay, so, before you go to sleep, there's only you going to sleep. Before you die, your family isn't there, your friends aren't there, but there's only you. So if you're watching this video now or at a later time, whether you're watching it with a family or not, doesn't matter, because it's you that is going to get the victory. It's you that is going to get the results that you want. It is you that makes the decision to not just impact your family's life, but impact whole societies. It's you to be a king, a prince, a princess in your life. You are royal and special, and it doesn't matter what religion or creed you're coming from, because we all have the Most High God's nature within us, which is love and expansion and abundance and prosperity. That is available for every single human being on the planet if we get aligned with the laws of the universe, the known universe. So that's pretty much it. Tune in to the next video. We appreciate you.
The resource that they recommend, because this might be important if you're trying to build your library or something like that. It says it's called Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. And he says, this book made me re-examine my entire belief system. It's a must-have for your mental toughness library. And maybe we should get a copy of that, because I don't have that one yet.
That's cool.
But that sounds cool. So yeah, you can hop on with us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time, and we'll be on the dot, probably, most likely. We'll be on time this time. We had some technical stuff happening today, but we got that sorted out now. And so thank you guys for tuning in, and let us know what you took away from this video. And if you did find anything valuable at all, make sure that you share or tag someone below so they can reap the value and the benefits as well. All right, see you guys tomorrow.